In a city that's famous for its love of sport, you only have to remember the successful Commonwealth Games 4 years ago, the Paralympic World Cup, and the red and blue footballing halves of the place to appreciate that. Manchester is a success story in its own right, and it's no wonder that its annual 10K run is booming as well.
I think that's a great thing that sports people do in the Manchester area.
Have a great race!
All the stars, you know, the football people.
Good luck.
And from people like Coronation Street and Emmerdale.
I mean, I can't run. I'm usually chasing Jack.
People recognise, well, if they're coming out and they're busy people, well, we can get behind it too.
Good luck, everyone. Have a good race.
Sport is for people to be inspired by. We all our heroes are in sport. You know, when I was a boy, it was 20 minutes a day, it's a lot.
It's to raise a lot of money for...
Get the goodie bag.
Well, we're just minutes away from the start of today's races, and it seems like the whole of Manchester's turned out either to run in this or to support those who are competing. And we've got three legends from the city, three sporting legends. We've got the Sports Personality of the Year, Andrew Flintoff, the lawman, Denis Law, and Sir Alex Ferguson, who are going to be starting the race. First of all, Sir Alex, you've known some great atmosphere at Old Trafford, but how does this compare today?
It's fantastic. I mean, 25,000 runners for a start. I think half the city's turned out. And to support them, and I think it's great.
And in terms of your summer, you're going to have a quiet one, or are you going to go to the World Cup and have a look?
I'll probably go to the semi-finals and the final maybe. I'm going on holiday first.
I should think so too. Well,
Exactly.
welcome today. And Denis, you've been part of this. You're as much part of this as the race itself. You're a permanent fixture here. How much has it grown?
Well, this is the fourth one, and I've started it every year, so you can, right from the beginning, it's grown and grown and grown. And it's marvellous to see, as Alex said, so many people here. And the beauty about this thing is the amazing amount of money that will be raised for charity throughout Great Britain. So, really fantastic for Manchester.
Good to see you here again, of course. And Andrew, now you've got a little charity on your mind. In fact, it's a large charity, Kirsty Howard's Appeal, Kirsty's Appeal. How did you get involved in that?
It was through Susie Mathis. You know, Kirsty was brought to light, well, to my knowledge, through David Beckham. And then since then, you know, they're trying to raise money for Francis House. Trying to raise £5 million over 5 years in the home straight now. I think about 400 grand to go. So it's a great appeal. It's something I've got involved in, and trying to raise a few bob for it, and you know, hopefully they can reach the magic 5 million.
Fancy running in one of these?
No. You know, I enjoy playing cricket. I enjoy bowling. But running's not my forte, to be honest.
Well, listen, good luck in the second test this week, and gentlemen, enjoy your day. And as Freddie was saying, Kirsty is a real VIP in this city, and as ever, she's been playing a prominent role during the whole weekend. Will be good enough for many of the 25,000 starters today, but at the head of the field, we're in for some very fast times. of the elite athletes who'll be involved today. They've come in from all over the world, but one in particular has been made to feel right at home here in Manchester.
How exciting was it when you found out that Tedeschi was coming here to Manchester?
There is no words to explain that to you. It's very, very, very great excitement because, Eritrea is just the newest country of the world, and it's a very small country, and only few people know where the hell it is. So it's just now the Rasanna is making the country very famous and popular, and it's a great opportunity, and it's a great excitement for all of us.
How important is it to know you have such good support when you travel abroad for big races?
When I come to Europe, I am not alone run me. So the people of Eritrea, they are running with me. So I'm happy.
Tedeschi will win the 25th Great North Run. Nobody could have expected that. The Olympic bronze medalist of the 10,000 metres has just produced one of the greatest runs in history over the half-marathon distance.
Of course, everybody remembers your fantastic time in the Great North Run last September. You obviously enjoy performing in Britain. Can we look forward to something special here in Manchester from you, do you think?
So, actually, I am ready for this competition. I don't know. All athletes, they are coming for what? For win. So, I am ready for this competition, and I don't know the weather, if it is good. I hope so. I am going to win.
There is no words. I can't explain it. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I'm proud. I'm happy to be Eritrean, and I'm proud about him too. He's unique.
Eritrea will be very proud of that young man. He ran a brilliant race.
Do you think Haile Gebrselassie course record might be in danger?
The weather is very windy and very cold. So, God is a day of God. So, we will see after the race.
How excited will you be on Sunday if he wins?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just a great excitement, but I can't explain. It's like a dream. Do you know, it was when a dream comes true.
And this is the route that Tedeschi and the rest of the runners will tackle today. A course of some 10 kilometres or 6.21 miles, starting in Portland Place in the heart of the city, passing the GMEX Centre and then up onto Chester Road, and then the long run out to Old Trafford, turning right onto Sir Matt Busby Way before passing Manchester United's home after 4 kilometres. Thereafter they'll head for the regenerated Salford Quays, the award-winning Imperial War Museum and the Lowry Building, looping around the quays before heading for home. They'll spread out all along the dual carriageway, then it's back onto Deansgate with a finish line in sight. So, slight changes to the route compared with the last 3 years, and ready to give us our new bearings in Manchester are Brendan Foster and Steve Cram in the commentary box.
The reputation of the Great Manchester Run has grown almost as quickly as the numbers who want to enter it. There's some of the main contenders: Prokop Chuka, Adire, Benita Johnson, Wami Okayo, Liz Yelling. And the African Challenge there once more with Getawami and Behan Adire.
I live here most of the year. We live in London, in Hampton Wick, and I love living here. I really miss Britain when I'm in Australia. Funnily enough, I'm not sure why, but I spend much more time here, and I love the people, and I love the atmosphere that you get when you come to races. It's second to none anywhere else in the world. So it's great to be back here, and I've spent a bit of time in America. I'm sort of done with that now, so it's lovely to be back here in my second home in Britain.
I recovered quicker than I anticipated after Melbourne, and I've managed to hold on to a little bit of form, and I'm not as sharp as I would like to be eventually, but it's still really early in the summer, so I'm in good enough shape to be near my road PB for 10k, so weather depending, as it's looking a little bit fierce out there at the moment.
So Liz Yelling and Benita Johnson know what's in store for them. Fast race, no doubt. The course we know is quick from previous years. Conditions today perhaps not ideal, but the wind has settled down. We're expecting rain. Usually doesn't slow elite athletes too much. And with the quality of the field that we have here, then every chance of a very quick time indeed. Getawami, of course, former world champion over 10,000 metres on the track. Berhan Adira, more recently world champion in 2003. Both of them coming back to some of their best form, perhaps not at their best, certainly Adira over the last couple of years, and it's been a little while since we've seen a really good performance from Wami. Adira, fresh from her good performance, new Ethiopian record in the London Marathon. Benita Johnson and Liz Yelling, fresh from performances, well, contrasting performances at the Commonwealth Games. Johnson running well at the World Cross Country. As we see, the wheelchair athletes already well on their way. David Weir in the early lead, he's been in fantastic form, and Tisha Patel, as usual, trying to hang in there with them. The two of them already pulling away.
And as the wheelchair athletes head out onto the roads towards Old Trafford, there we look at the athletes warming up for the main mass start. The women are underway, and there's a small group of them, and here are the athletes, they're part of the 25,000 numbers here for this event, beginning to warm up. And the men's race, going to be an interesting one. Tedessa we've heard about. It's amazing to hear about the Eritrean community here. Fabiano Joseph from Tanzania and Boniface Kiprop of Uganda are going to be formidable athletes. Pushing, starting, but always making sure that they get their own watches going. Even the elite athletes don't trust the official timekeepers. They're always going to rely on themselves. And the course here skirts the edge of Chinatown as it leaves the city centre of Manchester, past the famous Bridgewater Hall, the home of the Halle Orchestra, and then out towards Whitworth Street, and then eventually on the main Chester Road out towards Old Trafford. You can see the twists and turns here in the city centre as this big group of athletes following some world-class stars at the front get on their way on this 10-kilometre journey.
The elite men lead the main field. As Brendan was saying, over 25,000 people have entered this year's race, and there's a logistical exercise to get that many people away at the start. Only 10 kilometres is, well, it's a short distance, isn't it, these days? An awful lot of competitors to be guided around this course and, of course, through the finish area. And the elite men will have the elite women in their sights a little later on. There's just 5 minutes between the two starts, which gives the spectators not too long to wait. Once they've seen the best women pass, then the men not too far behind. There they are, further up the road. Benita Johnson on the far side wearing 3, Yelena Prokopchuka wearing number 1, winner of New York Marathon, winner of the Edinburgh 10K just recently as well, in the best form of her life over the last couple of years. Kalovic, the tall Hungarian nearest to us. Berhan Adire, the taller of the Ethiopians, in the blue, wearing number 2 in the middle of the pack behind there. And Getawami alongside her. And it's good to see those two coming back to some sort of form, Brendan, because they've really been the two athletes who really pushed the Ethiopian women forward.
Well, these two athletes joining the great Dorado Tulu, and between them, the number of gold medals they've won in the World Cross Country Championships as they go through 2 kilometres, the World Road Race Championships. The time through 2 kilometres, 6 minutes and 15 seconds. That's 3:4 for the first 1,000 metres and 3:11 for the second 1,000 metres. But it's interesting to see Getawami, the smaller of the two Ethiopians, back in action. She's been missing for a long time, and she's the athlete who we remember ran a fabulous race in the World Championships in Seville in the 10,000 metres, shadowing Paula Radcliffe all the way, and then out sprinting Paula Radcliffe to win that world title in the searing heat of Seville. Number 8 there, Kalovic, one of the leading European athletes. I can just see in the distance, and it's good to see Liz Yelling there in the navy blue and pale blue vest, fresh from her performance in the Commonwealth Games. And right in the foreground here, this is the athlete from Australia who was very disappointing in the Commonwealth Games, but came back and finished 4th twice in the World Cross Country Championships recently in Fukuoka, and alongside an athlete who was a commentator with a Geordie accent has difficulty with, Yelena Prokopchuka. You can say that better than me, Steve.
Nobody can say it better than that, Brent, seriously. You're right, it's not difficult to say, it's just our accent. Men's race. Really interesting battle I think we're going to have here. Already at the front, Fabiano Joseph, the world half marathon champion. He finished 3rd in that Commonwealth Games race, won by Boniface, Kiprop, you can just see a little bit further back in the pack. They're also wearing the black strip, wearing 102. Behind them, though, Tedesse, the man who the Eritreans have come out in force to support. Winner of the Great North Run, you saw at the start of the programme in fine style. They've got personal best 27.59. I think that could be in for some rewriting today. We'd expect them to go well under 28 minutes. Of course, Gebre Selassie last year setting that phenomenal time of 27 minutes and 25. Different course, but it hasn't been changed too much. If you like, they're going round it in a different direction, really, to what they did the first 3 years. But it's pretty much the same course. It's quick, it's flat in most sections. As I said, conditions today, and the fact that the wind has dropped means that hopefully we'll get some pretty quick times.
Very close shot there. The concentration of Benita Johnson from Australia, starting to enjoy road running. She won the Great North Run a couple of years ago, then tried the marathon, and that really didn't agree with her. The track, the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, didn't really agree with her, but on the country and on the roads, she's a world-class athlete. Egging them along here, Prokop Chuka near her, Burhan Adiri, the former world 10,000 metre champion, just behind her, being shadowed by Gita Wami in the all-blue vest, former world champion of 10,000 metres as well. Karlovic, the Hungarian champion, on the far side, and right alongside them there, number 9, that's Sultan, another Eritrean athlete. So the small country of Eritrea, we've heard a little bit about them, but they're getting serious about distance running for the men and the women.
This is the chasing pack a little bit further behind the leaders, and one or two British athletes looking to get back. You can see Mark Steinley wearing 1-2-3 right in the middle lane. Steinley is trying to get back to his top form, one of our best marathon runners of all time, and our current best marathon runner on the outside of that group wearing 109, Dan Robinson. Robinson perhaps still with a little bit of the Commonwealth Marathon in his legs, but here's the gap that group of British athletes have. And in this leading pack, incidentally, Chris Davis, I saw him earlier on. There he is, right on the far side. Chris Davis is wearing all black, wearing 118. And there's right behind Tedesse. Chris Davis ran very well here in Manchester last year. He's had one or two niggly little problems with Achilles injuries and things, but deciding to concentrate very much on the road these days, and he'll be looking to have a good performance today. And you've got to get up there, you've got to get involved in the race and see whether you can live with this sort of pace, and he's certainly doing that so far, because they're not hanging around.
And you've got to say about Chris Davis in the black vest there on the inside, number 118, that he really is a confident runner. He's in amongst some world-class athletes. He's never been able to compete with these on the track, and so far not even on the roads, but he's running very aggressively on the shoulder of number 101, probably the favourite, Zersane Tedesse of Eritrea.
Old Trafford, one of the big sites, obviously. The main, there you can see, I was going to say in the background, there's been a few sales and comings and goings at Old Trafford, but it hasn't quite become a store yet. But it's the biggest site, I guess, that is on this course as it winds its way out towards Salford Quays area. It's pretty much an out and back, and although that might not be the most picturesque, it certainly provides them with the opportunity of running quickly. As Karlovic is just having a look across at Benita Johnson, who's being left to make the pace here, which will obviously suit Adire. Any of you who've watched Adire run over the years and heard us commentate on her will know that she's quite an annoying athlete at times to have behind you. She's one of those athletes who runs very close to other runners, often clicking heels and things, and she never really goes to the front at all. I'd be very surprised if we see her do any of the early work. Just happy to sit in the group wearing number 2 there. Prokop Chuka wearing number 1, and it's Karlovic who's trying to force the pace a little bit now.
And Tedesse in the orange vest, Chris Davis right alongside him, running strongly there. Boniface Kiprop of Uganda just behind those two, and Fabiano Joseph also there. Kiprop, the winner of those fantastic Commonwealth Games. There's Shabunin of Russia. And these athletes working, trying to close that gap, trying to close down that silver there, number 111, trying to get through that gap. Dan Robinson leading that chasing group there. You can just see him in the red vest there, and Mark Steinley of Great Britain. good to see these two marathon runners take on these shorter distance athletes, and it's good to see them being competitive too. That's what we need.
Well, the men are giving chase to the women's elite group, closing the gap all the time. The women now passing Old Trafford, Sir Matt Busby, keeping an eye on proceedings there. As I said, the athletes running in the opposite direction to last year, and yet to really break up this leading group. Kalovic and Benita Johnson, the two who've been setting the pace. The Ethiopians keeping well out of trouble. Also in that group, just towards the back, wearing the red, is Natalia Berkut from the Ukraine. And so 7 athletes now moved away from the rest, and Liz Yelling finding herself adrift of this pack after having tried to stay with them over the first 2-3 kilometers. There's Berkut in the red from Ukraine, is just outside 31 minutes on the track, but hasn't run that fast on the road, so she's in good company here.
And you can see the difference in tactics here. Benita Johnson on the inside there, and also Kalovic of Hungary, both trying to egg it along, move it along quickly as they move towards the second 5 kilometers of this race. And the two Ethiopians, Burhan Adiri and Gita Wami, both traditionally athletes who will sit back and wait, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, here things starting to move a little bit in the men's race, and perhaps about time. Fabiano Joseph from Tanzania, as you can tell, has picked up the pace. That lead group completely broken up, but look at Chris Davis on the outside there, hanging in there with the big names. These are the guys who win medals on the track and on the roads, and Chris Davis living with this pace. They're going to be running well under 28 minutes, so can rest assured of that. The talent that is in that group there, these are the people who have the ability to win from half marathon almost down to 5,000 meters on the track to win medals, Olympics and World Championships. And certainly Joseph and Kiprop and Tedesse are 3 of the new names, if you like, who are starting to dominate distance running. Kenenisa Bekele, the Ethiopian, of course, who still sits perhaps not quite head and shoulders anymore, but certainly ahead of everybody else. It's good to see Davis in this company.
It certainly is, and he's operating at a different level, and he tends to do that in early part of races, especially on the roads. And this site will be known by all those athletes, by the Eritreans, by the Ugandans, because Premiership football and Manchester United in particular have a worldwide following, and I've witnessed it in Africa myself, and they really are. They know all the names, they know even the transfer prices, and they're real students of the sport out there. And these 3 athletes, well, they're students of this sport, but they're outstanding athletes. Tedesse setting a world record in the Great North Run last year. That was his best ever performance, really.
The wheelchair race, as expected, David Weir coming through to win, and a pretty quick time as well. He's put some real distance between himself and Tushar Patel, the winner of the London Marathon, and of course you may have seen him winning at the Paralympic World Cup here in Manchester a couple of weeks ago. And here's Tushar Patel, winner of the race last year, settling for 2nd place this year. And Kalovic forcing the pace now. There's a few more little twists and turns here, and these are often the opportunities, particularly in this part of the race, where you might want to try and get away from the group. It would be a brave athlete to try and break away from the talent that's in this leading group at this point. And Kalovic has almost been a reluctant leader, if you like. She looks as though she's working a little hard to me, to be honest. She has been in good form, but the others look a lot more relaxed around her.
Glancing over her shoulder there, as you see the athletes passing the Imperial War Museum of the North along the Salford Quays here, getting good support, and this is a very competitive race, but you do sense Benita Johnson and Kalovic herself would like to get some distance away here, try to get a break on, but it doesn't look as though the athlete from Ethiopia is going to let her. She's really holding her there. As we look overhead, there's the Lowry Centre and the Imperial War Museum. The conditions you can see from the helicopter shot, it's a bit damp up there, it's a bit damp down here.
That's the river. They're always a bit damp, right? Boniface Kiprop, the Commonwealth champion. Tedesse, the winner of last year's Great North Run, wearing 101, and Kiprop just starting to push things. Chris Davis struggling for the first time. Chris Davis has got to keep working hard here, trying to hang on to them as they drop off this group. Incidentally, good news of Mo Farah, who ran a 10k race in New York yesterday, finished just behind Craig Mottram in 28 minutes 37, which is the time that Chris Davis ran here last year, so I'm sure he'll have half an eye on that as well. So perhaps a little light at the end of what's been a dark tunnel for British distance running in recent times.
Just through the 5k point there, 13 minutes and 56 seconds. Well, that's a good 5k time for Chris Davis, whatever happens.
Well, he's just beginning to rock and roll a little bit there, Chris Davis. Tedesse, who may have looked at that 5k time and thought, I'm not sure that's quick enough. I'll bet you they've had half an eye on Gebre Selesi's time of last year, 27.25, and he went through 5k a good 5 or 6 seconds quicker. It's difficult. Road races are always slightly different in terms of if the course changes, obviously, but conditions every year are a little bit different. So it's a benchmark time more than anything else, 27.25. But I know that with the talent that's here, they would have been expecting to run well under 28. So perhaps we're going to see the second half of the race a fair bit quicker here.
Well, you would think the second half of the men's race would be quicker. They just suddenly lift the pace. Suddenly Chris Davis is in trouble, and Boniface Kiprop stretching them along. And now we look down overhead, the Lowry Centre, the developing part of Salford here, the Imperial War Museum. River that is a canal. Steve called it a river, it's actually a canal. And Kalovic of Hungary leading from Burhan Adiri, leading from Getawami. Yelena Prokopchuka there, deep in concentration. She seems to have been the same the way through this race, Benita Johnson. She wants to run well here. She told us earlier she spends her time training and racing in England. She takes her results here pretty seriously. She's been successful on the country, world cross-country champion. She's been successful on the roads over a half marathon in the Great North Run. She's a very, very good distance runner, and it seems when she's settled and when she's running well, she really can churn them out.
Well, the elite women entering the business end of the race, and well, not often you see that with elite runners, that they jump on the curb and cut the corner a little bit. I expect a few of the runners behind will be doing that. Now these women, well, they're being chased down by the leading men. They're certainly getting much closer, and they'll be interesting to see how much gap there is between them at the finish. Don't forget the women started 5 minutes ahead of the men, and it's a useful target for the men as they start to pass some of the elite women who've been dropped off the pace. And indeed that leading group has been whittled down now. Tedesse, the pre-race favourite, with Joseph and Kiprop. Jonas Kifle wearing 104, trying to hang on. The other Eritrean just finding this a little bit tough now as Fabiano Joseph just uses that little rise there to try and put a little bit of pressure on. But they're really shifting along now as Chris Davis is about, what, 50 metres adrift of this leading group.
And you could just get a sense of the pace there as they turn sharply around that corner. They were almost sprinting, and suddenly the gap's beginning to open. There's the other Eritrean, Kifle, and then Elimer from France. And here's Chris Davis. Now that gap, he went through the halfway point with the lead group, and now he's going to have a hard road, but he's got to dig deep, he's got to work hard, he's got to try and run as well as he possibly can. And behind him, there's a good point here, there's Martinez, the European 10,000 metre champion, Silva alongside him, but this is an impressive performance so far from Chris Davis. I'm interested to see if he's able to keep it going, Steve.
Well, he's got one or two very good athletes behind him, as you said. Martinez looks as though he's going well and trying to give chase, but that's a big gap. And if Chris Davis, he's a strong athlete, Chris Davis, and he doesn't usually fall apart. He's just got to keep working hard, and again, he'll have the opportunity to pick off the elite women. It's not as though he hasn't got somebody to chase as well. Now, these are the two athletes in 4th and 5th place. Jonas Kifle and El Hima, and then we'll have our leading three after that. And the gap between those two and the leading three has got larger rather quickly, hasn't it? Look at that. There they are, moving their way through the elite women's field. Shelley Woods with an excellent performance in the women's wheelchair race. She's left perhaps the pre-race favourite Porcelato quite a long way behind her. Shelley Woods, just 19 years of age, and her reputation growing all the time. There's Francesco Porcelato, who beat Shelley Woods in the London Marathon, is a long way behind on this occasion.
It's amazing the way this happens. Suddenly the pace lifts. Fabiano Joseph leading. Kiprop, the Commonwealth champion, beat him there in Melbourne in 3rd place. And the Olympic bronze medalist, Great North Run winner, number 101 from Eritrea, Tedesse, suddenly decides he wants a piece of it too. And when the athletes start racing each other like this, that's what makes the times really process. And look there, through the 7-kilometre point, 2:41 for the last kilometre, and then 2:49 for that one up to 7k. 19:26 at 7 kilometres. They're going to be really fast here. They're going to be well under 28 minutes if they keep going. They're going to be close to Haile Gebrselassie record, and that's a fine record. The fastest 10,000 metre road race ever run in Great Britain last year by Haile Gebrselassie. Remember, this race has been run 4 times now. It's been won by Haile Gebrselassie, been won by Paul Turgat. It's been won by Craig Mottram of Australia. It's going to be a different name on the trophy this year, but you wouldn't like to say which one of these 3 is going to win it at this point.
So Fabiano Joseph, the man who's trying to break Tedesse, looks like Kiprop just struggling a little bit to hang on to these 2 at the moment. Kiprop, who came out on top at the Commonwealth Games, just 2-3 metres adrift. That looked like Margaret Akayo who's being passed there, and a little further up the road, the women's race, we can see the damage that's been done. And look at Kalovic, she's really going backwards now, is looking behind her all the time. She's, well, I thought when she was pushing the pace early on she didn't look too comfortable. There's Prokopchuka trying to get onto this lead group of 4 athletes now. Benita Johnson, whose form seems to be getting better and better after that really disappointing Commonwealth Games in front of a home crowd in Melbourne. As Brendan was saying earlier on, she came back, performed better, much better at the World Cross Country Championships. She's had another couple of good races since, but the way this race is going, this could be one of her best runs on the roads over 10 kilometres, Brent.
And she's trying to break them down. She's not settling for 4th. She knows she's got some class athletes alongside her. Interesting athlete, Berkut, the Ukrainian athlete, right on the inside. And 3 of the 4 athletes here are world champions. Benita Johnson, the World Cross Country champion. Adiri, the former 10,000 metre track champion. Gita Wami, World Cross Country and World 10,000 metre champion. And the other one, Berkut of Ukraine. Well, she's in fantastic company here. Looking the relaxed face of Burhan Adiri. A little bit of an anxious look on the face of Benita Johnson. Berkut looks relaxed.
This is a really good performance by the Ukrainian, Brendan. She ran in the San Juan 10K, one of the big 10Ks in the world, back in February, and she was behind both Prokopchuka, who's now a good 20 metres behind this leading group, and Adire. It was a very hot day that day, 30 degrees. She finished 8th in that race, and that was a pretty good performance, but this is much, much better from the Ukrainian. Best we've seen from her. And just a little bit further down the road, these 3 are catching them quickly. Look at this, Tedesse now forcing the pace. I said that Kiprop was struggling earlier on, and he's managing to hang in there once more. Joseph realises the danger. He sees that perhaps this is a break by Tedesse. He's got to cover it. Kiprop starting to struggle. They're almost sprinting. Liz Yelling being passed by them. Look how quickly they're going past the elite women who aren't hanging around. And Tedesse this is a big, big push for the finish, and they're still almost a couple of kilometres from the end.
Tedesse looks fantastic now as he pours the pace on, but he hasn't got rid of Fabiano Joseph, the world half marathon champion, 2 of the best half marathon runners in the world. Here they are over 10,000 metres, and they're moving ahead of the Commonwealth 10,000 metre champion. That's number 102. That's Boniface Kiprop of Uganda. So the Eritrean leads, Tanzanian second, and the Ugandan, the athlete who came home from the Commonwealth Games and was feted in Uganda for that fantastic performance. And you can see him now looking over his shoulder. He's got long gap behind, but he's in third place, and I don't think he's going to do any better than that.
Well, they know they're very close to the finish, and it's a slight uphill run to the finish, but one or two big kickers here. Wami in Adair was a big kicker, but she's not as good as Adire. And Adire, I guess the question mark about her is she only ran the London Marathon less than, well, just about a month ago, and she's got to have some of that in her legs. Johnson can kick, but she's not so swift. I've got to be honest, I couldn't tell you how quick Berkut is in the finishing stages, the Ukrainian, and in fact she's going to the front. It's a big effort from the Ukrainian, and Adire quickly covers that move.
Well, that was significant. That was a fast move by Adire. For the first time, Benita Johnson coming under a little bit of pressure. Geeta Wami, who in the past we've seen dominate these races, but the Ukrainian athlete working so hard. She knows she's surrounded by world champions. She's never been in this sort of company. She's never run as well as this before. Natalia Berkut of Ukraine. And I wonder, has Berhane Adire recovered sufficiently from the London Marathon? She finished 4th in the London Marathon, setting a new Ethiopian record. And you think about it, that may take some doing. 800 metres remaining, and they're still in contention. 4 athletes in contention. 2 renowned sprinters, the 2 Ethiopians. Benita Johnson we're not sure about, and Berkut, well, we've never seen her in this position before.
And just, well, almost just 300-400 metres further back down the road, the winner of the men's race very much in doubt. It perhaps is down to 2 here. We've got Fabiano Joseph nearest the camera, Tedesse on the far side, and the Eritreans have come here to support Tedesse. We'll be hoping that he's got enough at the finish. We saw how well he finished in the Great North Run last year, but he's got Fabiano Joseph, who admittedly is not so hot at the finish on the track, and they're just a few hundred metres behind the lead women, and Benita Johnson just starting to struggle. She's got to try and find something for the sprint finish here, but look at Berkut. This really is a wonderful performance, and there goes Adire.
Did you see that? Just a glance over her shoulder, and suddenly Berhane Adire explodes there, sprinting, moving away so quickly. Look at that gap. Well, she's got some attention on the roadside from some bystander, but I hope he doesn't get in the way of it. But Berhane Adire, the world 10,000 metre champion, looks as though in a few moves she's actually done enough. She's even got rid of that spectator. She's running so quickly.
Well, he's moving pretty quick, and he's shooting shoes there, but not as quick as Adire. She's put some distance very quickly between herself and the chasing athletes. Geeta Wami in a real battle with Berkut. Benita Johnson looks as though she'll have to settle for 4th. Adire takes one more look behind. She can see the finish line ahead of her as they head into Deansgate. The crowds have gathered here, knowing that they were going to see a good race, and a quick race indeed. This is one of the best performances from Adire we've seen for a while. Her marathon performance was good, and off the back of that race, this really is impressive. She's going to be very close to 31 minutes. Berhane Adire of Ethiopia with the sprint finish that once was her trademark. Back to winning ways. Adire wins the Great Manchester Run, and it will be an Ethiopian 1-2 as Geeta Wami gets the better of Berkut of the Ukraine. And Benita Johnson of Australia with a big personal best there in 4th place. The Australian will be delighted with that. Here's Prokopchuka, and a little bit further down the home straight you just saw Tedesse. Here he's coming now, and it's Tedesse who's sprinting away. The Eritreans jumping up and down here in Deansgate. They're making lots of noise, delighted to see Tedesse coming home to win. Oh, he's almost knocked over there by the man trying to hold up the tape. That was pretty pointless, to be honest. Almost knocked him down. Joseph taking 2nd place, and then Boniface Kiprop getting 3rd. And a very quick time, 27:36 or so, as we see Kifle getting the better of El Hima, and Chris Davis has finished really well, and Chris Davis looking to try and beat his time of last year. He's going to get 6th position. He'll be very close to that 28.5 mark. Ooh, that's about the same as last year, 28:37. Liz Yelling just coming in there behind Catherine Moutoir in the women's race, and that's another good performance from Liz as well. So once more, the Ethiopians coming out on top. Very swift, 31:07. Geeta Wami, 31:13. Benita Johnson settling for 4th behind a much improved Natalia Berkut. Liz Yelling took 10th place, 32:55. In the men's race, Tedeschi 27.36, Joseph and Kiprop with good performances in second and third. Chris Davis, again the first British athlete, in 6th place, and Dan Robinson kept going well and ran just outside 20 minutes. Good performance from him. It was David Weir, the easy winner in the men's wheelchair race, ahead of Tushar Patel. And Shelley Woods, again a very, very good performance from her, taking over a minute out of Francesca Porcelato.
Yeah, it's a good day's work for the professionals, but for the majority of this 25,000 strong field, it's all about raising money for good causes today. There's plenty of personal goals to be achieved as well, and we'll be finding out what's motivated them to pound the streets around Manchester. Diane Oxbury, Phil Jones and Sarah Stirk are on course, ready with their questions. But if inspiration were needed, it's going to be provided for this massive field by opera singer Sean Rowan, the man who serenaded the England cricket team when they paraded the ashes around Trafalgar Square.
A little bit of pressure, singing in front of Mr. Flintoff and 25,000 others as they're set on their way by Dennis Law, Alex Ferguson and the England cricket captain. What a day in Manchester.
Somebody I didn't expect to see in Manchester, Elvis, looking good.
Thank you very much.
Who are you running on behalf of?
Running on behalf of the Lindsay Lodge Hospice.
Who are they?
They're a hospice in North Lincolnshire. My dad went there for 2 years over the last 24 months, so it's close to all our hearts.
Well, you certainly look like you're going to have fun, and that's the spirit of this run.
Absolutely, definitely. Good luck to everybody as well.
Well, if you're going to run, you might as well get noticed.
Oh, thank you. Friends have complained they never see me in the actual race. I'm in pink today because I'm raising money for the Kirsty Appeal, because I think Kirsty's a wonderful little girl, her determination and attitude to life, and I hope that she gets the £350,000 today.
Well, Bill Turnbull, we know that you can trip the like fantastic on the dance floor. What about on the roads?
Well, I'm not sure about tripping. Stumbling the heavy and less than fantastic might be more like it. I've done a 10K before, but a long time ago, and I've not been hugely fit, so it'll be a bit slower than you might have expected.
How did you get involved then in the Marie Curie cancer kit?
Well, I was very lucky. I needed to get fit, and they asked me to run. And so I thought, well, that's great. So I'm doing this, and I'm doing the Great North Run in October, and this is sort of a warm-up to get me started. But I'm delighted to do it because it's a very worthy cause. They're raising a lot of money, and it keeps me in shape, so we all win.
You know in this outfit you're going to be 2 stone heavier by the time you cross the finish line.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a bit better weather than it is today, otherwise I'll be rolling down the road rather than running it.
Are you looking forward to it?
I am actually, yeah. I just want to get going now before the weather comes down even worse.
There are so many stories in this Great Manchester Run, but one in particular stands out. It features 2 cousins from Kosovo who are running with the British Army surgeon who helped save their lives. They're raising money for Manchester Aid to Kosovo and specifically to create a Manchester Peace Park in their hometown. Phil went to meet them.
So, ladies
nice
first. Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Dave,
pleasure to meet you.
Go inside and have a chat, shall we?
Yeah, let's go on.
Let's go do.
Takes me back to July 1999, which is when I first met Zoran Dandihona in Kosovo. I was the general surgeon at the British Military Field Hospital in Kosovo, which moved in courtesy of the genocide that was happening there.
The only thing that I could understand, because she was talking in their language, was their only children. And then they pushed her, and one of the soldiers shot her. And then he changed his gun and started shooting at us. It's really hard to forget that day, because I lost my mother and my 2 brothers, my cousin, my auntie, my grandmother, and other relatives.
They'd been injured, they'd been to Pristina Hospital. There was little that could be done to really help them out in what really needed doing. And they came to our hospital, which was only a small hospital. But what we did have, and this made a difference, we'd had a simple telemedicine system. And together with the medical details, we sent those up and photos of their x-rays, photos of the wounds, multiple gunshots that they'd had. And then it's the rest of the story, because they were subsequently evacuated to the Manchester Children's Hospital with the aid of the Royal Air Force, the Department for International Development, the staff at the hospital that we'd been at, and over here with the aid of Manchester Aid to Kosovo, with ongoing support and help. It's just been one tremendous story, bringing hundreds, possibly even thousands of people, helping them and other Kosovo refugees.
It was really good, you know, when we first went there and seeing everyone, and they gave us sweets. I remember them, the sweets. Well, obviously we wouldn't have been able to come this far without a lot of people helping us. I think it's important that it is called Manchester Peace Park, and you know, people from Manchester actually going and building the park there. It just shows that there are actually people out there, you know, who care what happened to, you know, people in Kosovo, and they do want to do something so that they have a better life.
When Simone English pulled on her trainers this morning, she knew exactly who she was doing it for. Her niece, Ellie Bauscher, who's 5 tomorrow. All last week, Ellie was in and out of hospital as she suffers from cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is the UK's most common life-threatening inherited disease. It affects over 7,500 babies, children and young adults. Average life expectancy is just 31. That's a dreadful statistic, so Auntie Simone rounded up a team of competitive workmates from Accrington to hit the streets, to use their lungs to run for those who can't.
Well, isn't it amazing what some people will do just to help others? These are amazing stories that we hear. And the spirit here of Manchester, on a very damp day, still exuding positive attitudes, people doing things for others, wearing all kinds of uniforms, silly uniforms as well, I must say, but all doing what they're trying to do for themselves and for others.
Nigel, nearly halfway. How are you finding it?
Getting tired, trying to keep with the rest of the guys. A lot of people are starting to stop now, so other than that, it's going well.
Conditions not great today?
Well, actually, I prefer it when it rains. Keep it a bit cool, but getting a bit slippy with tarmac. But yeah, it's going well.
Who are you running for today?
It's going for kidney research for my wife, who was actually in hospital at the moment with having a kidney transplant. So everything's going well. Fingers crossed, she'll be out next week.
She'll be out next week?
Hopefully, yeah, Wednesday. So it's going really, really well.
And how much are you hoping to raise?
I've got about £400 that they already raised. So I've got to thank the Wildcats for that, the Wakefield rugby team, because they put a lot of effort into it. So yeah, going well.
And is this your first Manchester 10K?
First one, yeah. I'm doing the Great North at the end of the year, so good build-up.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Jason, nearly halfway. How are you feeling?
All right, so far, yeah.
Have you done much training?
A little bit, yeah.
Who are you running for today?
Leukemia Research.
Tell me why?
Because they're a fantastic charity. Ken Lomas, who runs the team, is an inspiration. And a lot of my friends run for it, and that's how I started.
And how much are you hoping to raise?
Oh, millions. Together, not just me. Yeah, during the season, we have a kind of strategy for the whole year, and we raise a lot of money together with TV Times for this charity.
Keep going, good luck.
Thank you very much. See ya.
As always, we've got a sprinkling of famous faces running today. We've got DJs and newsreaders, stars on the small screen and soap. And in fact, one of those is a former Corrie regular who's well used to the streets of Manchester, one in particular, and the conditions.
So Denise, how much are you looking forward to Sunday? Or how much are you dreading it?
I'm looking forward to it because I've never been involved in any of these races before, and people say that it's such a fantastic atmosphere, so I'm hoping that the swell of the crowd and the cheers will keep me motivated. I'm not very competitive, I have to say, so if Tim was doing it, he would be absolutely killing himself to get through the finish line with the Paula Radcliffes of the world.
What's it been like, the banter? You're talking about Tim being competitive then. Has there been any banter around the house?
He's been quite competitive. He did threaten to do it with me next year, but we'd probably just argue like cat and dog because Richard and Judy, we aren't. I got my old mate Sal, who's very kindly running with me, because I find that if I'm running on my own, I stop as soon as I'm out of breath. And so I've needed Sal to sort of spur me along. And she's needed me as well, because Sal is very much based in Pilates and stuff, so she's needed a kick up the bum as well. So we've done it for each other.
So Sal, be honest with me, how's Denise been doing?
Really well, actually, I do have to say. Very, very busy filming schedule with Waterloo Road and one thing and another's made it quite difficult. But 110% when she's been here, and we've been training together, so yeah, I'm quite proud of her.
I think that Steph, the character that I play in Waterloo Road, would probably not get more than 2 yards because she'd start trying to have it off with somebody that she met in the crowd. And in fact, probably most of my characters would be the same. They'd have a hip flask of fag and a man on one arm. It's a shame, isn't it? If we're going to be spending this much time together, I'd much rather it was after school.
Hey, bish!
Now, on the serious side of Sunday, you're running for Marie Curie Cancer, of course, and it's got a very particular place in your heart as well.
Well, it has. I mean, it was a long while since I'd done anything for a cancer charity. My mum, 15, 16 years ago, had cancer of the soft palate and was very seriously poorly. Thankfully, she's still alive and kicking and doing amazingly well. In fact, they actually have her into the hospital to sort of hold her up and say, look, this is what you can be like after such intense surgery. And so when Marie Curie asked me if I would be involved, I was over the moon. They look after terminally ill patients at home so that there is a dignified end to their lives, and they are able to share it with their friends and family, so people are able to sort of live the rest of their life at home with the people they love.
You've done a lot to get yourself fit in other ways for this. I mean, a good few lifestyle changes, it seems like.
Well, yeah, I mean, before I came on board with this race, I gave up drinking 10 months ago, and that was because, basically, I was drinking too much, and I have a very well-documented battle with mental illness and with depression and anxiety, and I thought, right, I know that I'm not helping it with drinking, so I've got to stop. So I feel probably stronger mentally and physically than I have done in the past 18 years.
Well, listen, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic event. I know you're going to enjoy it. And,
I hope so.
And raising awareness for Marie Curie.
Absolutely, that's the main thing. Thank you.
Many runners have training partners or buddies to complete the course with. To Dave Healy, his partners Gary and Mac, well, they're indispensable. The other partner in Dave's life, his guide dog Wixie, will meet him at the finish line. When you're blind, taking part in a huge public running event takes courage and a great deal of trust. Dave describes the encouragement of the crowd as an overwhelming sensory experience. His mission is to raise enough money to fund the cost of a guide dog, so another blind person can benefit from the independence and mobility they bring. Oh, there's the small matter of beating Mac, who starts with the masses about 10 minutes behind. There's a wager riding on who comes in first.
Girls, come have a quick word with us. We've seen a lot of people running for the guide dogs today. How did you get involved?
Well, went around on the internet, looked for some places because we didn't get into the main, first one. I thought we'd want to raise some money for charity. And to be honest with you, the guy on the phone was so lovely. I thought, well, excellent,
Charm.
So we hopefully we'll raise about £1,000, which is great. Basic training for a puppy, which is great.
Well, Bill, well done, and a pretty decent time.
Amazing, actually, because we were talking about, an hour or 65 minutes, and then my best time, I thought was going to be 55. We got in just under 53. But they gave me a pacemaker, Mark Manelli, who's 61 and runs like a whippet, and he just dragged me along all the way.
And what about the crowds? You were hoping the crowds would carry you through as well?
Yeah, they were great. They were really, really great. I mean, they're the real stars today because it's not nice conditions for spectating in. It's fantastic for running in, really good. But to stand there in the wet and cheer us all on is a great achievement by everybody. So thank you to everybody for doing that.
I have to say, the best two outfits I have seen today.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's something we got from Ann Summers. We put together. Don't be shy about this. It's all for charity anyway. All for charity.
No pinching his bum.
He loves it. Big, innit? But it's all for charity. Has to be done.
Who are you running for today?
Booth Hall Children's Hospital for the burns unit there. I'll try and raise some money. Dressed like this.
Well, we've had a wet morning for the fourth Bupa Great Manchester run, but it certainly hasn't dampened the spirits. As we look overhead, Manchester and Salford, and they keep coming. They just keep coming.
Well, if you're going to take part in events somewhere this summer, then good luck to you. I hope you're blessed with better weather, perhaps, than we've had in Manchester today. And I hope that the event that you're in certainly has as much enthusiasm as the Mancunians gave us. 25,000 of them covering the 10-kilometre distance. Not the longest of distances, but they've all had a fantastic day. One or two of them out there a little bit longer than others.
12 months ago was the first time that the Great Manchester Run spilled over to take in a whole weekend of running to accommodate the younger citizens of this city. Well, it proved so popular that the numbers are up for this year's instalment of the Tesco Mini and Junior Runs. And it took place yesterday at a rather soggy sports city. Diane and Phil were amongst the grown-ups looking on.
It must be summer, 'cause the days are
What about all of this rain? Is that going to slow you down?
No.
How fast are you going to go round?
About 1 million fast.
1 million fast? Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Well, everyone knows Brooke Vincent, who plays Sophie Webster in Coronation Street. Did your mum bring you to events like this when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was always there in my shorts. I feel so sorry for these children.
It brings back happy memories, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially with the rain in Manchester, you know.
Away we go then, the start of the Tesco Mini Great Manchester Run gets underway.
And they were off. In this mini run, they're all under 8 years old. And hundreds of little legs pounding the puddles for 1.5 miles. Some went off like rockets. Some more interested in waving, and some just needed a hand to hold. There were plenty familiar faces from last year. Up front at an early stage, Christy O'Brien, in the top 4 last year and determined to do better this time. Come on, dads. Racing around the City of Manchester Stadium. Look at that face for determination. Keep up. Christy looks like a winner, and he was. And first for the girls, Molly Williams and Cheadle Hume.
Kerry, you're here to do the starting on us today. What a wet day you found.
I know it is a bit miserable, but we've got our Kirsty, so she's cheering us up with that beautiful smile, aren't you, Kirsty? Yeah.
Kirsty, your appeals raised so much money. Tell us how much.
471,000.
And you're a regular here. I saw you here last year with Anthony Cotton, wasn't it?
Yeah. This will be my 4th time.
It's great to see you again. And Kerry, what do you think of the occasion? You've seen all these kids around as a mum yourself.
I know, I think it's absolutely amazing. The girls would love it, but they're with the dad this weekend. But I've just been up there dancing, right, and I've had to tell Kirsty I can't run now because I'm really tired. So you'll have to get out of the wheelchair, Kirsty, and let me sit in there. No, okay then.
3, 2, 1, away we go then. Kirsty gets underway.
A special start for Kirsty Howard and Kerry Katona, and then a mad dash back for Kerry to start the girls' race for real.
Get set! Away we go then, the start of the
You go, girls. Eyes front, Laura, there's nobody even close. No time to take in the sights. And you think those fairy wings help her get round quicker? Laura Richards, doing well and first past the post. And check out the pink number of Vicky Newell, first home for the younger age group. Kirsty comes home to a huge round of applause.
Well, Laura and Vicky, congratulations. You were both first past the post in your group. Are you thrilled to bits?
Yeah.
What was your time?
8 something, I don't know.
Did you have a time in your mind that you wanted to beat?
9 minutes.
Hey, so you've done really well. And what about you? Because you were third here last year, so this time getting past the post first is fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you got family down here supporting you?
Yeah, they're over there.
And what did they think? Could you see them cheering for you when you came past the post?
Yeah.
Well, all decked out in your England kit, you look fantastic, but how was it?
It was quite hard, but we managed it because of the crowd. And
yeah, they really supported us as we were running past. They were all saying, "Come on, England, wave those flags proudly." So that's what we did, what they said, and wave our flags as much as we could.
Why did you want to do this today?
We do it every year. It's good fun.
Well, this is an enormous team. Who are you?
We're from Great Longston School. We've got 100 children running today. We need to raise £8,000 because we haven't got a proper school kitchen, and we need to put in proper facilities so that we can do healthy eating at school, educate the children about where food comes from, and get them inspired by the whole thing.
This is a great idea, and of course the run inspires people to think about their health, and now you're going to feed them really healthily.
Yes, the children have seen Jamie Oliver, and as a result of that, they're all interested and keen to do what they can.
And on a day like this, did nobody get up this morning and think, oh, I'm going to stay in bed?
And then the boys were off. That lad in the middle better get round quick in that Newcastle shirt. And from that start, it looks like he will. How appropriate, a sea of blue. But wouldn't you know it, out in front, all in red. Mums and dads braving the rain to proudly cheer them on. And splashing home first, in a great time, David Horniman. And in the younger group, Leon Gregory.
David, well done. Were you expecting that?
No, not really. Well, I came third last year, so I thought I'd go have a chance and just went for it.
Well done. Tell me what it's like when you're coming over the finish line knowing that you won it.
Oh, I can't explain it. It's just brilliant.
Leo, well done with the win. It was a tremendous win for you. Tell me what it was like to run there, running the City of Manchester Stadium.
It was really, really good because I support Manchester City, and running through it, I was just really liked it. And when I came through and I knew it was first, I was just really happy.
When Claire and Matt Griffiths from Holmes Chapel in Cheshire set off on their 10k today, their biggest supporter will be their 2-year-old son, Danny. Danny wouldn't miss it for the world, but getting him dressed and ready for it is quite a task. Danny suffers from the currently incurable skin disorder, recessive epidermolysis bullosa. He requires dressing changes twice a week, but applying them is extremely painful. 10k is a hard slog, but as Claire says, the dream of any parent with a sick child is to try and find a cure. And that's what we want, a cure for Danny.
Well, 10,000 metres, 25,000 runners, and thousands of reasons to run as well. And a few odd outfits as well. There's Denise Welch crossing the line. She doesn't look too bad at all. Well done, Denise.
Denise, congratulations. What about you? You've done it.
I tell you what, I actually feel like Gwyneth Paltrow at the Oscars. I feel like I'm going to cry. It's such a personal best for me because of how I've had a lifestyle change. I have to say, I couldn't have done it without Sal because she's just egged me on every step of the way.
Well, Saranda, you said ahead of time you'd not put a lot of training in, but you've made it to the finish. Well done.
Thank you.
How was it?
It was all right, actually. It wasn't as bad as I thought because I didn't do much training, so, you know, I was a bit worried, but it went fine.
And Johanna, what about you?
I'm all right. Just a bit of aching, you know, on the shoulder. I got shot, so. But I think I'm fine.
You'd roped your surgeon, David, into this. And David, are you regretting it now?
It is. It's been wonderful racing with them. I'd never have imagined, you know, those 7 years ago when I first met Saranda and Johanna, that we'd be running here together. That'd be so good, these two girls. They're an inspiration.
Can I ask you your name, first of all, hidden in there?
Sharky.
Oh, so Sharky's your name? I was looking for the man behind the mask, but you're not going to give that away, are you? No. And who are you running for?
British Red Cross.
It's one of the best interviews Phil's ever done, that. And down by the canal, as Brendan corrected me earlier on, they're streaming past in their thousands. And despite the wet conditions, they really have come out in their numbers. This event getting bigger and bigger every year. The entry's closed a month or two beforehand. And hopefully they've all had a good day. Perhaps 1 or 2 PBs amongst them as well. Behanadire, fine winner of the women's race, just outside 31 minutes, almost back to her very best at that distance. And in the men's race, you couldn't have got a more popular man here in Manchester from Eritrea. Tedesse taking the plaudits.
How pleased are you with your performance today?
Yeah, thank you very much. Today I am very happy because I run, this is my best time, 27:31, so this is my best time. I am happy, and I want to, you know, the people of Eritrea, they are coming here for support me. So actually I'm very happy.
Tell us about what happened at the Commonwealth Games and what decisions you've now taken.
Well, I went into the Commonwealths kind of knowing I get problems with my feet running on the track, and unfortunately the situation occurred again where I've got a big blood blister on the side of my foot once I get to about 4k, and I'm always struggling for the last k. So I've now decided to kind of knock the track on the head and concentrate on road where I don't get the same problem.
I hear that new challenges this summer are a distinct possibility. Tell us.
Well, I'm going to attempt the steeplechase this summer. I just fancy a new challenge, and I've got nothing to lose, and it'll either work for me or it won't. So I'll find out next Monday in the Intercounties at Bedford.
Dave, another victory of many victories. You keep toddling them up.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it, actually. The couple of months have been absolutely brilliant for me.
And how about today? How did it go?
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. Weather, a bit windy. Going out was good for the first 3 miles, was really fast, and then coming back on yourself was a bit tough because of the wind and the rain was driving in your face, so it was a bit tough.
And Shelley, I know you've got a liking for this race.
Yeah, definitely. It's close. The weather's not too great, but no, it's a nice fast 10k. It's good.
And describe how it went from your perspective today.
It was a good race. The first few miles were fast, and me and Francesca were together, but as the rain kind of came on, we kind of lost a bit of grip, but I managed to just pull away on one of the hills and stuff and get a bit of a lead. And I'm pleased to actually come first for one and beat her, and she beat me in London, so it was a good kind of thing for that. So I think we'll alternate.
I've been waiting for the chickens to come along, the ducks. We're absolutely exhausted. Over to you. How do you run in those? We haven't. We've just been trotting and then stopping and then trotting and then stopping. So, but it's all for a good cause. We're raising money for the Meningitis Trust. Our little brother passed away from meningitis in 2003, and since then we've raised over £16,000. So it's all worth it.
raising money for?
I've been raising money for Macmillan. I've got about 500, 600 quid. So thanks to Barclays as well, they doubled the money. So that's who I'm working for as well.
That's fantastic. And was it everything you expected it would be?
Yes, everyone's been cheering us on. Quite a lot of people didn't want to be beaten by Scooby-Doo, but obviously I might have started in front of them or something. You know, I had an unfair advantage. Everyone else is supporting me, not Joe Bloggs, but yeah, it's been fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping to talk to us.
We need some pink to brighten up a gloomy day in Manchester.
Oh, I'm not sure it was the day to wear this. The nose is a little bit heavy, and it's getting heavier.
Are you enjoying yourself, though?
I'm having a lovely day, getting loads of good support from everyone, and it makes a change from trying to run really fast to actually run for a charity.
Who are you running for?
Running for a charity called Aspire, who support people with spinal injuries. So it's a really worthy cause. No one knows when a spinal injury might happen to them, and Aspire are there to support them if it happens.
And is pink your favourite colour?
Not after tonight, it won't be.
You're halfway round. Keep going.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Well, I love the get-up. A pair of higher whoppers.
Yeah. Pocahontas.
Oh, Pocahontas,
Mini
okay.
ha-ha.
Pocahontas Mini Ha-Ha. Who are you running for today?
Bobby Moore Fund.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic cause. And how much are you hoping to raise?
About 50. Just about 50.
And how was it, dare I ask?
It was lovely. Great. The atmosphere was fantastic. The support was wonderful. Made it easy. Yeah.
And the weather's slightly cooling as well.
Kept us cool, yeah. Who's supporting you out here today?
My family and all my friends. Just for cancer research, for the Daffodil Crew. Yeah, all my friends have gone off and all left me. All right.
You enjoying it?
Yeah, they're just getting wet through. All right, thank you, bye.
There are always plenty of family connections in a big mass participation race like this, and Phil has been to meet a mother and son combination, Debbie and Lee from Bolton, for whom just getting to the start line today is a major achievement in itself.
Behind me is the old Bolton Lads Club, established in 1889 as a leisure facility for boys in the local mills here. But times have changed, and so has the location. 4 years ago, they opened a new club just around the corner. Girls are now welcome, but we're about to meet quite a lad. He's our new tour guide. Started me off in the gym. I'm not that used to this kind of place myself, you know. What about you? How often do you come in?
Well, I come in quite often.
They actually asked me to say a goodbye to him in case he didn't make the journey.
Is this your favourite piece?
Yeah.
He crushed his lungs. He'd had 2 impacts, front and side.
And the crowds are going to be pretty good, I would imagine, cheering you on.
It was touch and go for a long time. He was actually in the coma for 3 months.
I knew there's, like, I'm about number 2,563. So many are doing it.
He had to relearn everything. He had to learn how to walk again, which was 12 months before he walked.
And you're going to get a lot of notoriety on Sunday, because you were telling me, was it you fancy being in Coronation Street?
Why?
We wanted to do the Great Manchester Run because Lee used to do cross-country running, and we thought that it would be a good opportunity to raise money for the club as well.
So, Lee, this is your favourite bit in here, I believe, yeah. So what do you do with it?
You punch in it, fires back in, it's like moves.
It sounds dangerous.
So then you could... Well, I never knew it did that.
He's quite a character.
And who are this likely lot over here?
People are running with me.
The first signs of him coming round, the wheel on the trolley was squeaky, and the corner of Lee's mouth started moving. I said, he's smiling.
I hear you're a big Peter Kay fan. I thought you were going to give us a joke to end with.
No.
He's got a Peter Kay list.
He loves Peter Kay.
Thank you very much.
When I was a kid, afterwards...
I'm warmed up here. Don't ruin it.
The humour's really got us through this. Lee's sense of humour and his positivity as well.
Still on and off. I can't do it. Take 3. I'm taking these with me.
You do realise we're going to hear them over and over again for the next 2 months.
People have many different types of motivation to begin running. It was a devastating family loss that inspired Emma, her brother Tom Jordan, and their friend Kelly Morgan. In April last year, Emma's partner Steve Wood lost his life to leukemia at the shockingly young age of just 26. He left a young son, Finley. To have something to focus on, they began training for last year's Great North Run, which they completed with pride on behalf of Leukemia Care, raising over £4,000. Today, Tom and Kelly, this time on home turf, take part in the Great Manchester Run, in memory of Steve Wood.
You enjoy it out there, the atmosphere in spite of the rain?
Absolutely superb, yeah. But rain helps, keeps you nice and warm, and superb.
And a couple of incredibles. Were you incredible out there today?
No, it's terrible. No, it's good that people really spur you on when you're running around. They really, really do. It helps a lot, especially when you're getting a bit tired towards the end. It was good.
You've done brilliantly well, in this horrible weather as well.
Yeah, we did it, yeah. But, you know, I mean, you can't choose the weather, can you? So now we just need a pint of lager, if anybody wants to buy one. We are now open to offers.
Well, Finley, I think it was here last year that we last spoke.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're back again for more in the rain in Manchester.
Yeah, slightly. At least the hair doesn't get wet, I suppose. So, yeah, no, it's been good. I've done it actually twice today. This time last year, I was going into hospital the next day. My cancer came back. It just doesn't feel like a year since then. It just feels so good. And just getting ready. We've got can't say too much. We're going to do a huge event in September. I've done this twice as a bit of a warm-up, and let's just say it's going to involve running somewhere in the world quite a lot.
Fantastic. We look forward to hearing all about that. But running twice today is quite an achievement.
It does have to be said. I was a little bit panicking the first time round to get back in time to be ready, so it was a bit more enjoyable the second time round. But I think I was quite happy. I think I was about 48 the first time and 57 the second, so quite happy with that.
Well, that is quite wonderful, and it's a delight to hear a year on that you're doing so well, and good luck with the effort in September as well.
Great, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, there's 20,000 official finishers, all a little bit damper, a little bit tired, but all safely on their way home now.
Well, they've been coming in their droves a good hour or more after the elite athletes finished. I'm sure they'll all be anxious to find out who exactly won the big race at the front. And all of them have completed their own particular challenge. As one of the competitors just said there, you can't choose the weather, but you can choose what you do on a Sunday morning. So I think a big well done to all of those who've taken part today, completed the 10-kilometre distance, and to all of those who've supported them. Another good day in Manchester.
Now, you might think that running 10k is a bit too much of an effort, but this summer we're asking you to go the extra mile, just 1 mile actually, for Sport Relief. You don't have to sprint, you can just walk it if you fancy, whatever it takes to get round. I wonder how Dermot O'Leary will tackle it.
On Saturday the 15th of July, all around the UK, you can be part of the Sport Relief Mile 2006. And the great thing is, because it's only a mile, anyone can do it. There are loads of ways you can take part. You can pick up a pack, one of those, and give us a call, thank you, on 0845 605 8000. Or, best yet, log on to the website, bbc.co.uk/Sport Relief. Whatever you do and however you do it, please, please, please just don't do a Dermot and get left behind. Don't forget that website.
It's been a soggy old day in Manchester, wet but certainly not miserable, judging by the reaction of 25,000 people as they cross the finish line. Next year, this event will undoubtedly grow even further in terms of size and stature, and for that 5th anniversary running of the event, we'll try and order some sunshine.
Ready? Stop with that camera, no shy.
Well, it's not often you get to see a man dressed in drag and hear from Alex Ferguson and Freddie Flintoff and Dennis Law and Denise Welsh all in an hour. Fantastic action from the Great Manchester Run. We're here at Widnes.
Thousands more lined the streets around the city centre to cheer on the runners, and Jodie Fielder was one of them.
There appears to be a whole new breed of fun runners, but some are just barking mad.
20 minutes from the start, the rain has just started to come down. As you can see, everyone's warming up behind me. Now, to get our times at the end of the race, we've got one of these round our ankles. That'll record the time through the start line, and then as I get to the finish, getting nervous, but I'll see you there at the end. I said I'd beat Gordon, didn't I? 41 I think I did, which not too bad. I haven't done an awful lot of training, but it's really slippy out there. It's quite hard work, and I've been busting for the toilet all the way around, so I'm going to have to go.
Cancer Research. We've already raised £150 through Regatta. It's been collecting some people off the street. Some kind man just give us £10 as well.
Surely you must have flown round, you know.
Well, I was told that when I bought them, but they didn't work, so I might take them back.
I'm feeling wonderful. Fought crime all the way round. Had a bit of a trouble with my gusset, but apart from that, I'm okay, yeah.
One result worth mentioning was our very own Gordon Burns' sub-55 run, but apparently it was his last.
Pretty shattered, but actually not as shattered as last year when I was staggering all over the place, so maybe I could have run faster, but I said last year never again, so this year, really, really never again.
As for the proper athletes, there were some outstanding performances from local competitors. Blackpool's 19-year-old Shelley Woods continued to impress by winning the wheelchair race. The fast
Well, as you saw there, as well as Jodie, our very own Gordon Burns was involved as well. Gordon, how are the old blisters?
Actually, well, no blisters, and the legs feel pretty good, actually. I must have trained properly this time.
I hate that. And you said in that piece, Gordon, had a bit of a ring of Sir Steve Redgrave about it, that you would never do it again. Is that true?
I probably will come the moment.
I bet you will.
But we did well as a team. I mean, Jodie Fielder was absolutely brilliant.
Jodie, the speed merchant
Fielder.
Yes,
just over 41 minutes, which is absolutely staggering. I mean, it would be staggering if I did. I was in just over 54 minutes.
Superb.
And we'll give you the other time sometime.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you for that, Richard. Now, well, as you know, it was very wet for the 10K run. Most of the runners lashed with rain. It's been wet today here. It's been wet in Belfast, where I was a few hours ago. Is it ever going to stop? Here's Diane.
Well, yes, it's going to stop, and it will stop.